And we're back for part two. We had just discovered and looked at the reference of these two lines and finding only the same old stupid plan of dog eat dog, of mighty crush the weak. We see that those two lines are being emphasized, and we wonder, has Hughes or the speaker just redefined what the actual reality of the American dream is in those two lines? So moving forward, on to the next stanza, if you notice that I have changed the colors after the shift, kind of see how things have moved from early on establishing the fantasy of the American dream and then on to the reality, just so I can see the difference in how it's being treated there. So when we see here, again, the use of the phrase "I am," I almost see that the speaker's voice is stronger. Speaking for him or herself in that case. No longer is it asking to let him or her speak, but to pronounce the I am is a real strong sense of self at that moment. I am the young man full of strength and hope, tangled in that ancient endless chain of profit, power, gain. And so I see that word tangled. I think it's really important because tangled is interesting because it's not that this individual is chained, but still within and held by those chains, that ancient endless chain of profit. We see that chain still exists, but not connected to the young man full of strength and hope. It's a different chain, but it's still there. It goes on in talking about being weighted down by that chain, that ancient endless chain. So what is that chain? So we see a metaphor being explored there. That chain is almost being presented as capitalism, profit, power, gain, or grab the land. And then you see over and over the phrase grab being repeated. Grab, grab, grab. So again, I'm like, all right, why is it grab? Did it belong to someone else? Again, it's not the working so hard in achieving that goal, but it's taking it that's being exhibited here. And I also think what's interesting is you see these being referenced as prepositional phrases of grab, of grab, of grab, of work, of take, of owning, which is, I'm thinking about how that preposition works in that sentence. Again, a preposition, I'm now looking to the parts of speech and how Hughes is using them. So either our speaker is tangled by the chain or belongs to that chain. Of is, if you are of profit, of grab the gold, or you are of grab the way of satisfying need, then you are still within that chain and can't break free. It continues on. Again, you see greed being referenced here. I think this stanza is pretty significant in emphasizing the ideas of capitalism and Hughes's or our speaker's commentary on there. All right, then we go in again. I am is being repeated again. I am the farmer, bondsman to the soil. Bondsman is being referenced, and then you see the phrase sold being referenced. Servant. Again, a contrast to that idea of pioneer that appears in the first stanza. A pioneer is someone who's propelled by their own desires and exploration and looking for option. But here you see the speaker referencing themselves to, I am the farmer, the bondsman to the soil, sold to the machine, the servant. Those are all very, very contrasting to the earliest stanza there. Again, I've highlighted the phrases I am over and over. And then you see that shift back, when I am, but who is you all? Is it the audience? Is it the reader? Is it those who believe in the fantasy of the American dream? So I think you go from that shift of I am to you all. You see a contrast and a conflict being set up right in that line. I go on, I am the people. He's not alone. Is he representing in this case, even though he's been talking about his own ownership in this experience, but now he's also associating himself with people, so more than one. And I have noticed that shift that occurs. I am the people, humble, hungry. I like my H is repeated there. I didn't mark it, but you see some alliteration. And mean. And so you've got machine, mean. You've got a rhyme starting to be established here as well. Hungry, yet today, despite the dream is coming up. Beaten yet today, oh, pioneers. There is that word pioneers from the first stanza. So I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. So we see that idea of showing some commentary on that American dream. I am the man who never got ahead, the poorest worker bartered through the years. Again, you see, I never got ahead. And that's the real sense of the American dream. Work hard enough, you're able to move forward. And he says, oh, pioneers, those who have tried this path, I'm the one who never was able to fulfill it. We go on and you see this line, and I marked again, the poorest workers bartered through the years. You see iambic pentameter there again. The poorest workers bartered through the years. That's the meter of this line. And so after I get through this, I will go back and look at what lines were in iambic pentameter and why I think they were. Then he goes on, yet I am the one who dreamt our basic dream. He too is still dreaming this dream. Even though he's identified the flaw in the dream and the reality of it, he still is dreaming that dream. In the old world, while still a serf to kings, who dreamt a dream so strong, so brave, so true. And again, he's reiterating that dream that's promised to immigrants, that's promised to everyone, that even in this mighty darling sings, and every brick and stone and every furrow turned, that's made America the land it has become. And right there, he has revisited that idea of the fantasy of the American dream, and he has admitted he's the one who's dreamt that basic dream. Oh, I am the man who sailed those early seas in search of what is meant to be my home. For I am the one who left dark Ireland's shore and Poland's plain and England's grassy lee, and torn from black Africa's strand I came. And I think those words I started, obviously torn really resonated. And so I looked back at the verbs that are used. The man who sailed, the one who left, and torn. You see a discrepancy with those who came to America and how they got there, which I think is pretty pertinent. To build a homeland of the free. Again, you see that irony and context right there, is that those who sailed, those who left, those who were torn, worked to build that homeland of freedom. And what does that freedom actually mean? So moving on, right after that emphasis of free, a homeland of the free, you've got two words that are emphasized right here, the free. And I ask, why is this isolated to one line? Who is saying this? Is it our speaker? Are they questioning rhetorically? Are they questioning us? Are they questioning the fantasy, the free? I think it's pretty, a pretty cool line. So who said the free? Not me. Surely not me. So you see a little bit of, in this, the shift of, it wasn't me? No, surely not me. I have not achieved this dream. The millions on relief today, the millions who shot down, again, you see that mass amount that are being referenced, millions, millions, millions. And I would mark that. And then it goes, and all the songs we've sung, and all the hopes we've held, and all the flags we've hung. So all of these people, this mass amount of people that have bought into this, you see the repetition of the first part of this clause, and it's a cumulative effect of all of these millions that have dreamed this. And then look at the significance of that last line. The millions who have had nothing for our pay except the dream that's almost dead today. So they've bought into it. They've paid for this dream, but they're left almost dead. The dream is almost dead today. And that word almost, skin that little bit of glimmer of hope. Then we go on. Oh, which I think, when you look at a phrase like that, it's bringing things about maybe to the end here. Oh, let America be America again. It repeats the title and opening lines, but we see some new knowledge there. The land that has never been yet. So it hasn't achieved all of these things that he outlines earlier as the dream and the idea of America. The land that has never been yet. So again, that glimmer of hope in the process of becoming, and yet must be the land where every man is free. And so now just redefining of what this will look like. So we see the poor man, the Indian, the Negroes, me. But something I will say to notice in context, women are not referenced in this, in those who have been left out. So are they still being left out in 1935? Who made America? Whose sweat and blood, whose faith and pain, whose hand at the foundry, whose plows in the rain, must bring back our, see that shift of point of view of that of pronoun usage, our mighty dream again. So we see that shift. It's not I, you, me, but our. So we see that inclusiveness there. Sure, call me an ugly name you choose. Again, back to you. The steel of our freedom does not stain. So I wonder where that line fit in. It didn't kind of go with the flow of what we were experiencing. Is our narrator assimilating? Are they saying that it's our freedom as Americans? It does not stain. Can we move forward in this from those people who live like leeches on the people's lives? We must take our land again. Who was left out? I think there's some interesting references, and I'd like to explore about who are they taking it back from? America. Oh yes, I say it plain. America was never America to me, and yet I swear this oath, America will be. So oath is an intriguing word. How is he dedicating himself to this cause? Is it political? Is it in oath? Is it in name only? Is it, is it religious? What's the connotation of that word? Out of the rack and ruin we see again, rack and ruin, and then below rape and rot, our gangster's death, the rape and rot of graft and stealth and lies. We the people, which again should ring some bells there, parallels the reference to the in the third stanza, the land, the mines, the plants, the rivers. So we see some environment here, which I think is, thinking about what land did they take? What are they calling and referencing as theirs? The land, the plants, the rivers, all the stretch of these great green states, and make America again. After I've done that, I might go back and go through the TP cast process, the title, the paraphrase, look at the title, paraphrase what lines I can, what connotation of words do I find interesting, what is the attitude that the author takes in this poem? Do I see shifts, and which I highlighted in my first read through? I might come back to that title again saying, okay, am I understanding it in a different way after I've read? And what are some themes? So remember those thematic issues that we talked about in Gatsby, those big general ideas. And what is Hughes saying about that with that thematic statement? I put this as well, is annotating poetry is this delicate balance between looking for the following elements: poetic devices and their effects, poetic form, the structure, the rhyme, etc., figurative language, point of view, the speaker, the narrator, what repetition, obviously, parallels and contrasts, the general story that's being told. Is there a beginning, middle, and end? Tone and mood, the developing of theme, comparison to other texts. What's the cumulative effects of devices and words? Diction choices, obviously. And then go back and using the TP cast and pick up on what's left. We'll go through these poems multiple times, and you'll see more each time that you go through it. But it's a process. Each time you do it, you will improve. So be patient with yourself and enjoy it. Poetry rocks. Later.